Hello, goddesses. Hello, hello. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Hopefully, you all can see and hear me. If someone can just pop on in and let me know that you are here and that we have good sound and good visual. Hi, Leah. Good morning. Leah, can you hear me okay? Do we have good sound? Yes, yes, yes. You can hear me? Yes, yes. Hi. Okay. All right. All right. So, good morning, everyone. My name is Javon Frazier. I am your guiding light. I am the owner of the Hidden Jewel Wellness Boutique here in Myrtle Beach. And I'm just excited to share with you a little bit of my light as it pertains to womb wisdom. And so I want to thank Leah for, first of all, orchestrating this amazing week. I think talking about the womb is something that it's kind of taboo, but it's so necessary for women everywhere to understand, one, what that is, and to kind of like, not even kind of, to learn how to connect with her womb and allow that to navigate her journey in life. So I'm really excited to be a part of this. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. I can be a little long-winded, and I'm a teacher at heart. So I'm going to try to like condense it, or we'll be here all day. And so if, as we're sharing, something comes up that you want to share, definitely feel free to put it in the chat. If you don't feel comfortable sharing it with the group, you can message me here on Facebook. I'm going to also plug in my personal information so that we can continue the work that we're going to start today. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started. The thing that I want to focus on today is the power of introspective guidance and how that relates to womb wisdom. And you're probably like, well, what the heck is that? So, first of all, I think in order to understand how the two go together, we need to kind of define what the womb is in this setting, right? Because we all know, the womb is basically the center of life. It's where, you birth life, your uterus is there, all that good stuff. We know that. We don't have to go through that. What I'm talking about as it relates to the womb is a spiritual piece, is the womb as the nucleus for you as a woman, for what you create. That's where you house your emotions. That's where you give life. That's where you nurture life. That's where you have your gifts and your dreams and your visions and your traumas and your pain. All of that is housed in your womb. Okay, so keep that in mind as we're moving forward today. Today, when I speak about the womb, we're talking about you at the core. Okay, you as a woman. We're talking about your emotions, your dreams, your visions, your pain, your struggle, your drama, your trauma. Like, we're talking about your soul. Okay, so keep that in mind. So now let's talk about what introspection is. Now, by definition, it's simply the practice of observing yourself, your mental process, your emotional process, and really taking note of that. Okay, and so it's pretty much the same thing as it relates to the womb. Introspective guidance is just going deep within yourself, examining your womb, examining, doing reflection and all that stuff in order to, one, heal yourself, okay, in order to be able to continue to create, in order to unblock any stagnation that's there, in order to navigate your life and your journey. Okay, does that make sense? So when we're talking about introspective guidance, we're basically talking about sitting still, getting quiet, okay? It's meditation and reflection, but with intention. And the intention is, let me look at myself. Let me look at who I am, how I feel about life, how I feel about the world. Let me evaluate that. Okay? And so before I go any further, I really want to be mindful, and I want to address sort of the elephant in the room, right? Because I know that when we are talking about the womb, sometimes that can trigger a painful emotion or a painful experience, because as women, we all have a different relationship with our womb, or not. Some of us don't have a relationship with our womb. If you have been sexually molested, if there's been any sexual trauma, any infertility issues, hi Vanessa, welcome. Yes, I'm so glad you came over here, goddess. So talking about the womb can sometimes be a traumatic thing. Some women feel like, well, I can't have children, or my womb doesn't work, so this doesn't relate to me. That is the furthest thing from the truth. I'm going to share something about myself to kind of bring us all on an even playing field, if you will. Like, I don't want anyone to feel like I'm up here, or, you know, like we're all in this space together. So I've experienced sexual abuse in my childhood, right? Multiple times, by multiple people. And for a long time, I did not feel connected to my womb because my innocence was taken from me. And so as a result of that, I did a lot of things that were unkind, were unloving to myself. I did not honor myself, my body, my womb. I felt like my body was only here for other people's pleasure. So for years, once I got past like, okay, you can no longer like use me, then I was in this like false sense of power where I used my body as a way to get back and be in control, because it's like, well, I know that this is what you want from me, so I'm going to give it to you, and now I'm in charge, I'm in control, because I'm choosing to give it to you as opposed to you taking it. And I've had multiple, multiple abortions, multiple miscarriages. So like for a really long time, I didn't feel connected. I didn't honor my womb. I didn't even understand fully what it meant, what it did, what it was. I just was kind of like going through life. And so I understand being in that place where you just feel so disconnected. And so we're going to touch on that a little bit, but I just want to be mindful of the different women in this group. And I want us all to understand that like we all have a womb. We all deserve to be in this space. We deserve to honor and to listen to and to love and to support our womb and to allow it to do the same for us. So, if you feel, or if you have felt throughout this week that maybe this series is not for you, I invite you to come back, to check back in, and to allow yourself to just do the work. Okay? So with that being said, we talked about the definition of the womb. We talked about the definition of introspective guidance. And so right now, I kind of just want to lead us on not even a journey, so to speak. I want to give us a couple of things to think about. Okay? Feel free to share it in the chat. Feel free to write it down in your notes. Like I said, you can message me personally. But I want you to think about the womb. Okay? I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to just think about, when you hear the word womb, what do you feel? What does that mean to you? How does that feel to you? When you think about the womb, is it a physical thing? Is it a spiritual thing? Is it a foreign thing? What does that mean to you? What are some words that come up when you hear the word womb? Well, that, Vanessa, is the power of introspective guidance, right? So, good, 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 good. So, the next thing. So, we talked about what that feels like, right? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to be mindful. In the physical term, where our sister said, it allowed her to give life. Okay, let's start with that. Knowing that your womb was able to create life and to nurture that life, now think about emotionally, right? Think about the emotional life. Every thought that you have had, everything that you have created, even something as small as when you cook, okay? The love that goes into the food that you're preparing to nourish your family. Where does that come from? Your womb, right? It's so simple. And I think sometimes in life we unconsciously overcomplicate things. And the reason I say that is because sometimes we can feel like something has to be deep and profound. And rightfully so, because that is life, right? Life is always this journey of like discovering and doing deep dives and all of that. But just to get started, like the surface of it is simple. The love that you feel for your children, that comes from your womb. Does that make any sense? The love that you feel for yourself. So Vanessa, I think you, if you were on the event page, you may have missed the beginning. And so in order to like understand what introspective guidance is and how it relates to the womb, I gave my definition of what the womb is, right? And so I view the womb as the nucleus of what it means to be a woman. So that's where we create life physically. That's where we house our dreams, our emotions, our love. That is where our trauma is, right? And so using that definition of the womb is kind of like how we're leading into this space. Okay, that's the work that we do at the Hidden Jewel. That's pretty much how I like to address the womb. Okay, so yes, that is the connection that I feel with my womb and that I'm sharing here. So introspective guidance is simply the practice of going within, evaluating your emotional state as it relates to the womb. Okay? Great. So we're all on the same page. Awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. So thinking about like your relationship to the womb, the words that come up, I really want you to think about like the very first time that you were aware of your womb, and however that feels to you, whatever that looks like to you. What is the very first time that you were aware of the power of your womb? What was that moment like? Was it a sense of connection? Was it an awareness out of trauma? Was it when you found out that you were pregnant? When was the first time that you really were aware of your womb? And so, yeah. And we talked about that earlier, how some women who may have had infertility issues feel a major disconnect, and may even feel like this week doesn't relate to them because of the perceived brokenness or lack of having a womb, right? And so I talked about going back to that definition of what the womb means to me, how every woman still has the ability to give life, to create life, to nourish, to nurture, because that was your God-given ability at birth. Like, that is your right. Okay? And so starting from that point and just sitting with that and understanding that, like, you have a right to be connected to your womb. That is yours. That is, I always like to say that we are divinity defined, right? We are the divine reflection of all that is, of the Creator, of God, of spirit, whatever, governs your life. We're going to go back to that one. Whatever is, whoever you reverence, whoever governs you, whoever you honor as your creator, you are the divine reflection of that. Okay? So understanding that your womb, right, is your creative space. That is your right. That is given to you. No one can take that away. Nothing can take that away. That is yours. So I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself, but it's okay. So when talking about reconnecting to your womb, right, I really want us to, I would love for you to consider starting from that point, that this is my right as a woman to be able to connect to my womb. In whatever way that feels like. It may not feel comfortable right now. There may be some healing that has to happen. But at the core, you have a womb. It is yours. And you have the right to be connected to it. Okay? So let's talk about our first cycle, right? Because that kind of ties into like the work that we do at the Hidden Jewel. But I also think it ties into this topic as well, right? So for me, I never had a good relationship with my cycle, right? I felt like it was something that was disgusting. I hated that time of the month. I hated the pain of like the cramp, like, ugh. And my first time was similar to our sister that posted in the group. It was a fearful thing. I was out. I never forget. I had on a white skirt. I thought I was cute. I was out with like some cousins and like this boy that I thought was just everything at 13. And so it was a very traumatic experience for me. And like that kind of carried on into like my adult life to where I hated that time of the month. And even that is tied into how we feel about our womb, right? The more I began to understand what it represented, the more I began to understand the power in my cycle, the more I began to fall in love and really truly honor and appreciate my womb, I had a different outlook on my cycle as well. And so instead of that being a time where like I shut myself off from the world and I was already prepared to be grumpy, like I celebrate and I nurture myself and I love on myself even more. You know, I drink my goddess blend tea. I journal, I read, I cuddle with myself in my cozy purple blanket. Like that time is sacred because I understand what that represents. Does that make sense? And so that is the power of introspective guidance. And that's why it's so important to really check in with yourself and with your womb on a regular basis to make sure that one, you're still feeling connected, and that everything is still flowing freely, and you're able to still dream and visualize and speak and communicate and all of those things. So, and again, I what's the time here? Because I don't want to be too long, because I can go and go and go, especially about this topic, because this is something that like every woman truly, truly, truly needs to invite into their space and their regular self-love practice, right? Is truly like listening to your womb, honoring your womb, asking your womb for forgiveness. I had to do that. Once I realized how I was out here giving myself freely to people who did not deserve my hidden jewel, I had to go back and ask for forgiveness of my womb and honor my womb and truly like learn my womb all over again. Because in understanding your womb, you understand you. Okay? For those of us who may have an issue with self-love, start by, and here's the thing. Feeling disconnected from your womb is not necessarily a bad thing to start off. And I'm going to tell you why. And if you were at the International Women's Day celebration that Leah put together, you remember me talking about like how I love to play in the dark, right? I love shadow work. And I like to look at both sides of everything, right? So feeling disconnected from your womb is not necessarily a bad thing, because if you have self-esteem issues, self-love issues, if you feel that you within yourself are unworthy of love, of understanding, of any of that, then having that disconnect from your womb will help. Because if you see your womb as something sacred, even if you don't feel something sacred, even if you don't feel like you're worthy and, like I said, you're sacred, but if you view your womb as this is something that was given to me by my creator, and this is sacred, So no matter what Javon did, no matter what Javon may have allowed, her womb is still sacred. So if I honor that, focus on that, focus on becoming attached to my womb, learning my womb, then within that, I begin to feel love. I begin to understand Javon, and there begins a connection. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Because sometimes our life experiences, it's really difficult to view ourselves from anything other than what we've been through and what we've experienced. When we're still standing in our experiences, all we can see is that pain, is that trauma, is that whatever. So we need something outside of ourselves. That's where faith comes in, right? That's where our spirituality comes in. Until we're strong enough to be able to feel that within ourselves. And again, that's the power of introspective guidance. So I would love for you to consider including this as a normal part of your self-love. I do it every Sunday, sometimes more if I need it. And just check in with yourself. If it's okay with Leah, I will come back and post a couple of prompts that I use to kind of get your journaling and your thoughts happening. Did I talk about what introspective guidance looks like? Maybe I did not. Forgive me. While you're going deep, definitely get yourself, I would love for you to consider having a journal that is dedicated strictly to your womb work. Okay? And as you're doing your introspective guidance, whether it be the end of the week, the end of your day, the start of your week, during your menstrual cycle, whenever you feel led to go within. And as you're evaluating, I want you to just write. Excuse me, and not like consciously. Don't think about, okay, well, I'm going to journal about this today. No. You can set your intentions before you start your introspective guidance, right? You can have some prompts or, to kind of just get your mind flowing like we did today. Like when was the first time you felt connected to your womb? But as you begin to write, just let your soul pour out. Don't think about it. And keep that journal. Because I'm going to tell you what the power, journaling is so wonderful. I still have my journals from like high school. And actually, that's what I use to create a lot of my content that you guys see today. Being able to look back on who I was and how I felt and what I thought and just seeing where I am now. Because again, when we're in our situation, we don't always see how far we've truly come. Right? And so being able to like journal, that's like the physical manifestation of your growth. And so, guys, like I have journals for everything. I would encourage you to get a journal that's designated just for your womb work. And just really begin to sit with yourself and make it a sacred space. Like if you've been to the Hidden Jewel, listen, incense, frankincense is amazing for connecting to your womb. It is jasmine, roses, lavender, things that make you feel feminine and beautiful and pure. Like have that in your space. Get some candles, right? Some music. I mean, really make it a love session for yourself and your womb. And just be in that space. Okay? I thank you all for allowing me to share with you. Thank you for being open. Thank you for sharing with me. As I mentioned before, if there's something that comes up that you don't want to post in the group, I am here. We do offer womb work sessions at the Hidden Jewel Wellness Boutique. I hope that's okay to say. And so I'm here. You don't have to navigate this by yourself, right? That's my job as the guiding light. So I love you all so much. And I'll see y'all later. Bye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, and you know what? I forgot. So what I always tell my clients, and I will leave with you. Discover your inner sparkle and let it shine, because the world is waiting on you to just be you. All right? You guys are amazing. I love you all. I love you all. Yes, please stop by the Hidden Jewel. We would love to have you. It is such a beautiful space to just come and be, right? If you just need a place to just feel and begin your connection with the womb, that is what the Hidden Jewel is all about. It is a space for every woman to just come and just be. I love you right back. Bye, guys.